with all of the ish that was thrown in his direction. Not the least of, I mean, let's be honest, the reason he's going to become mayor isn't because of the clip I'm about to play you. He's going to become mayor because he stood up to the Israel lobby when no one thought it was possible, and because they made it their mission in life to go after him. They took a candidate who was sitting at about 3% in the polls, and he shot up like a rocket ship because they wouldn't shut the fuck up about it.
So what do we call that?
That's the Streisand effect. Real time for all its glory. Now, if all he did was mind his P's and Q's and ran a campaign like the one he did run, centered on this message, he never would have gotten elected in a million years. But this, if he would not have been on the Democratic Party debate stage, again, I agree with David 100%. And so that is the precedent that is set. Had Zohran only run a campaign centered on this message, he never would have won, but it was the message that he would have run on regardless, and that's what matters.
How's it going, guys? Do you have 60 seconds to talk to us about the election? How you guys doing? Do you guys want to talk about the election for a minute? How you doing, boss? How's it going, sir? Excuse me, ma'am. How you doing, boss? Why is it that you don't feel as confident today about Democratic candidates?
Honestly, I lost faith.
I felt like I was just choosing the greater of two evils, and whatever was going to happen was going to happen.
How you doing, boss?
Walter.
Walter, nice to meet you. Walter, did you get a chance to vote on Tuesday?
I didn't vote.
I call all my African people to vote for
Thank you, my brother.
because I know with you, New York City will change.
Thank you, my brother.
I support you.
1 year ago, we were here talking to New Yorkers after Donald Trump won the presidential election. Did you get a chance to vote on Tuesday, Devin?
I did, yes.
And who did you vote for?
Donald Trump.
The million-dollar question. Trump.
Honestly, I didn't vote.
Actually, I did not get a chance to vote.
But I didn't want to anyways.
What we're finding today, remember exactly where we were? There are far more people excited about the possibility of politics in this city on the same street, where last year there were very few who were looking to have that conversation.
That's interesting.
Look at all those white people voting for Trump, Jen. No, they're old white people, totally.
No, it's look at all those working people voting for Trump is what I was thinking. Like that's the glaring message from that.
Very glaring. And what it shows you more than anything else, and we're going to get to the creme a la creme shortly after this, it doesn't matter how bad Trump is or gets. What matters is that the whole system is designed to create people like Trump to take control. Because the Democratic Party is the furthest thing from Zohran Mamdani, at least in terms of its leadership and infrastructure.
How's it going, boss?
How's it going, son? You got my vote.
How you doing?
Yes, yes. I'm voting for this guy. You are the best, bro.
Thank you, bro. How are you? It's time for a change. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, man. Oh, thank you, my brother.
Just got my citizenship.
Hey, congratulations. Congratulations. That's amazing.
You're the game changer.
Thank you, my brother.
My bishop first. I voted for him yesterday.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Yeah, this is the mayor, the next mayor.
What we heard from them then was that they were tired of a Democratic Party that thought too little of working class people across this country to offer them an affirmative vision. Why did you not vote?
Because I don't believe in the system anymore.
How you doing, brother? Good to see you. How you doing, man? So did you believe in it at one point?
Yes.
And what caused you to lose faith?
Just the way things been going now. It's hard on people now.
Yo, let's go.
How you doing, man?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We are praying God, make it people expect to you. I hope you help us.
I've been watching you. God bless you, bro.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Both of you, me and my wife.
Thank you.
Both of you heard.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you to be mayor, and I hope. No, actually, no. I know you're going to become mayor.
You know, the one thing I have to say from this video and from what we've seen is that sometimes it does help when somebody who has a positive message and isn't bought by corporate power ends up winning, because it does give some people hope. Now, in the end, we still need a revolution. And I do believe that as much as Trump facilitates a revolution, I also believe that Mamdani facilitates it as well. And there's a reason I believe that, Jen.
Yeah.
People know what his 3 pillars are. People are well aware of what his 3-point plan for New York City is. Rent control, government-run grocery stores, and free transportation. Probably what would be considered holiday transportation. What I mean by that is free transportation on like a Monday or a Friday or something like that. But whatever it will be, it's a social, it's socialist in a number of ways for sure. But what I think will end up happening is that if he gets in there and he wins in a walk, which I have a sneaking suspicion he's going to, and he has this mandate, and they don't let him get anything, it's only going to, he better recognize very quickly that if they try to stop him, he better be revolutionary and not a capitulator.
And that's where I'm skeptical, because at the end of the day, he is a Democrat and he is somebody that is very smooth politically. So I have concerns. And I also don't think that the change is going to come from that. Also, nothing about his programs are socialist, actually, nothing. His programs are what should be universal basic services that we should have as a civilization that's the richest on the planet. Okay. Socialism means that the workers control the means of production. What he's talking about is using the tax dollars, and yes, at the city level and the state level, it's our tax dollars, using the people's tax dollars to help them in a way that actually helps them. Again, there's nothing socialist about any of that. So, and people using that phrase just really, to me, proves how woefully ignorant our general population is regarding socialism, communism, Marxism. People say those things, fascism. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Well, he
hasn't proposed a single thing that would be considered socialist.
And I also agree, because at the end of the day, it would only be considered socialist if he was talking about completely having the government run all grocery stores. He's talking about infusing one type of government-run grocery store into each of the 5 boroughs to basically balance the power is what he's trying to do. But what is going to become so evident to the ruling class, which is why they're coming down like an anvil on him at the 11 o'clock hour, is that if there is even a slight tilt in the direction of working people's needs, it, in my opinion, is going to continue to facilitate the revolution, because everyone's going to be around saying, well, why the hell does he get eggs for $3?
Right. Well, yes, it creates higher expectations that we should all have. But again, government run is not socialist. That's, again, like, I think this matters. And I don't think, like, government, let's say it was all government run. Well, that's authoritarian for sure. But I don't know what the economic program necessarily would be with that if it was that thing. But it's not socialist unless the workers own the means of the production and the workers get to choose. It's not socialist. So I really think that, there's nothing he's proposing that's remotely socialist.
Which is why, fairly or not, the expectations on him are going to be as big as they were on Obama during his first 100 days. And we saw how Obama failed this country in his first 100 days.
It's going to be upsetting, but the difference is...
Not necessarily. He's got to
think that the big difference is that Mamdani would be a mayor that is completely dependent on the state and the federal government for funds, whereas Obama's first 100 days, you could do whatever you want. So that's a very big difference. You can't, it's like apples and oranges. What concerns me about him is that he's as smooth talking as Obama, and that he isn't necessarily even where he says he is on issues. And that's a valid concern. Him being able to get stuff done is a real difference between him and Obama, though.
I do think he's going to get one. That's my prediction. He's going to get one item, and he's got to be very careful which one he picks. If I'm picking any of the 3, I'm going for the grocery stores. If you can reduce people's ability to afford to buy food in an equitable way in a place like New York,
I would let them decide what they want, but they very well might want rent control. They very well might. I don't, it really just depends. But again, he is dependent on funding that is controlled by other people that's not him. And so that he does have infinitely more limitations than the president does.
That's true. But like I said, I think he's got a real army behind him. Let's finish this out because we've got another component to this that's probably even more important.
Thank you.
I actually want to introduce myself. My name is Zohran Mamdani. I'm going to be running for mayor next year. Wow. Yes, yes, sir. Wow. And I'm going to be running on that platform of making sure we keep the rent where it's at for rent-stabilized tenants, of making the buses free, making childcare reality. And it's a pleasure to meet you.
You still gonna see you're already going to win, so why are you walking around for?
Come on, come on. You got to work every day for it. It's New York. Ain't nothing done.
Okay, so everything that he's talking about is what is called social democracy, which is really just a matter of living in a world where we have the ability and the means and the resources to take care of our citizens. And so the idea that we wouldn't do that to the best of our ability, just again, to me, it indicates a failure of our species. Because there's no reason other than greed. And let me be very clear. Poverty is a policy choice, and it's violence. Poverty is violence as a policy choice. So when you view it that way, I think that the revolution, it's more understandable why words are not going to be enough.
Yeah, and I would say this to Pink Rose, I would say it to David Hunter, any of our New York City contingents. The one elected official that I am truly happy for, who is a friend of the show, is State Senator Gustavo Rivera, who represents the Bronx.
Yeah.
And he is somebody who, from the very beginning, I messaged him privately and I asked him, does this guy have a chance? And he's like, he's going to surprise you. I'm telling you right now, he's got something. He's got something special. I'm like, okay, we'll see. And for somebody who represents the poorest borough by far, I think if he's able to do anything for them in a way that Zio scumbags like Richie Torres never would in a million years, then there is something to be said for just creating the hope in the people. You don't want to let him down because he's going to have to do something. What that involves, I don't know.
It's a matter of, we've said this before, Peter, when involving our campaigns, right? It isn't so much that people expect you to get all your things done.
No.
They just want you to fight for them.
Yeah.
They want you to fight for them. The mayor is not completely in control of where his funds are from, right? His funds come from taxpayers. He can't just coordinate Congress to issue a spending bill to create something. He doesn't have that authority. So he does have certain limitations. But what people want to see is that somebody is fighting for them and with them. That's what they want. And if you do that, they will support you.
Yeah. And the one thing that's been very consistent with his campaign is that you never see him going to any high-end fundraisers on the Upper East Side or any of the, Upper West, the Bowery, places like that.
No.
It would have been a lot easier for him to just become the Democratic Party nominee and completely shift who he was as a candidate. He didn't do that. And I think that's a very good sign. Now, do I think he's played ball to some extent? Yeah, he's had, Elizabeth Warren supporting him and Bernie and AOC and things like that.
That's not the biggest problem.
No, I would say
the biggest problem is him being willing to take advice from, consult with, affiliate with Zionists.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Of course.
Him playing ball within his own party to some extent. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I get that.
Now he may be saying that, and it's going to be completely different once he gets in there. Because the truth of the matter is the disintegration of the U.S.-Israel alliance is not going to come from Zohran being mayor. It's going to come from the people just simply saying, we're done with this shit, and we're going to get to that when Eleanor gets here. But to me, the most telling part of all of this, which I think is probably the thing that's also helped him the most, people do not trust the Democratic Party. They never should. I think they are infinitely worse than the Republicans because at least the Republicans tell you who the fuck they are, especially people like Lindsey Graham. Yeah, we're killing the right people and we're cutting your taxes. What more could you ask for? Hey, at least he's honest about it. I'll tell you who's not honest. The so-called leader of the Democratic Party. And now that Nancy Pelosi is finally retiring from Congress, this guy will definitely be the leader, for better or worse. This is what Mr. Jeffries had to say on the eve of the election regarding his support for Zohran and whether or not Zohran is the future of the Democratic Party.
Mamdani is the future of the Democratic Party?
No, I think the future of the Democratic Party is going to fall, as far as we're concerned, relative to the House Democratic Caucus and members who are doing a great work all across the country.
It's the word salad. What are you saying, Hakeem? What is he saying? Other than, yeah, we don't get behind Zohran. That's basically him saying, yeah, we don't fuck with Zohran. That's what he's saying.
Just as Mo would say, yeah, we ain't effing with Zohran. But yeah, Mo would say, no.
But why? Word salad.
Well, it's not just that, but Mo would say, hey, we don't F with House, you know what, Jeffries. We don't mess. We don't F with guys like that.
No, but that's the way he's talking about Zohran. It's just like, but he's not saying anything. What is the future of the Democratic Party? And the reason he's not saying anything is because they have no future. They have no future.
That's what should be said, just as Patrick says. That's what should be said.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Patrick, I need you to tell me what it's like driving the Homer car. It's always been curious on my part. La cucaracha. Sorry for those Simpsons fans out there who don't get the reference.
Oh my God.
The only reason why he goes on to CNN is because he knows Jake Tapeworm is not going to follow up with, okay, so what does the Democratic Party stand for? What exactly the so-called future of the party? So
there
what is
that? None. Love it. Keep talking, Hakeem. Let's add some dressing to that salad.
As it relates to our need to both take back control of the House, but in doing so, make sure that we're communicating to the American people like we understand you deserve better than the country that you have received.
And yet, who has been sitting there for a really long time? That would be you. Because I don't recall them talking like this under Joe Biden. I don't recall Hakeem, saying that we deserved more under Joe Biden.
You know what the most amazing part of all of this is? This guy has been the so-called leader of the Democratic Party in the House for about 5 years, and he's never actually been the House Speaker. And everyone hates his effing guts. Can you imagine how bad it's going to be if he ever gets that gavel? How much worse people are going to hate him? And
yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I think that that's part of their like decline is him sitting there being him. He's not going to be Speaker of the House. The Democrat, they're really on their way out. They're like the Walking Dead. Everybody sees them dead except for them and their little toadies. But nobody is new registering as Democrats. That's just not happening. Kids are not graduating from high school, registering in college and registering to go vote for Democrats. They're just not. They're just not. So how are they going to go anywhere if they're not registering any voters? The only voters that registering are really no parties, independents, and Republicans. That's where people are registering. So I don't know. They're going to cease to exist.